So today I wanted to show you a look at the process of harvesting olives that's done by a regenerative olive grower. And he takes lots that are abandoned like the one you see here and makes wonderful olive oil for everybody to enjoy. That's something that not everybody gets the chance to look at, the process of harvesting olives and get a peek into what it's like. These practices not only give you a wonderful product like olive oil, but also have the opportunity to regenerate the soil, provide resiliency for local. There are not many young farmers left, and they're really in a dire need of young farmers to take care of some of these abandoned lots, and to have somebody to be a custodian of these lands for future generations, because olive trees last centuries and centuries, if not millennia. Record droughts have sent olive prices through the roof here in Spain, and as the price of olive oil goes up, there's been a renewed interest of people wanting to take care of lots like these and putting them into a productive state. And you know, we really lucked out here in Castellon, where a late summer rain saved the olive harvest. So some of you have asked before about how much I've received from this harvest. I've only harvested 3 trees here. We had a limited amount of time to do it, and in the end we only got about 15 liters of olive oil, 160 kilos or 170 kilos of olive. Luckily, before harvesting on my own and tackling this new skill that I've never done before, I was able to tag along with Julian, experience firsthand what it's all about. They use a machine that latches on. His team of 3 uses a handheld shaker, which looks like a trimmer. The shaker latches onto a branch and oscillates back and forth, making olives fall onto a net. A long fiberglass stick is used to hit the branches to help in the process. This used to be done with Spanish cane. Once the net is too heavy to move, the olives are gathered into crates and brought to the mill for processing. On a large-scale farm, a tractor shakes the olive trees and falls and collected into a net. Or in a hedge row system, a tractor drives along above the hedge, harvest collects at the same time. As I said before, this year olive oil prices are through the roof, with prices of a liter of extra virgin olive oil between 8 and 10 euros and 15 liters between 35 and 45 euro, depending on where you get it. This gives me all the more reason to care for this grove, provide a little bit of resiliency for me and my family and my community, as these trees provide for us. As I've cared for my trees and I've tagged along with Julian, I've learned to respect the trees and the farmers who have dedicated their lives to caring for them. This tree gives so much in a country that is so arid and has to deal with droughts more and more often. And I think it's such a wonderful treasure that Spain has, part of their legacy and culture, and it's something that rural communities all around Spain should embrace. Unfortunately, droughts are becoming more and more common in Spain. That's why practices like Julian's are so important, to add resiliency to the system, caring for the soil, improving the water table, also caring for our natural ecosystem. Droughts are causing olive trees to skip fruiting sometimes. I'm really happy with the results. This is only the first year in of me caring for this lot. I leave these branches a lot around because I haven't gotten to managing them yet, but as you can see, the leaf litter easily accumulates. So far the grasses haven't taken over. You're starting to see a variety of plant diversity like borage, other asparagus, wild asparagus, all kinds of grasses. And if the grasses do get tall eventually, you can come in and weed out the taller grasses and perhaps even other plants like this, which is lantana, which I wouldn't want growing in this area. It's okay to produce a bit of organic material. So every once in a while you have to come in and manage your weeds, do a little bit of selection process. If you have the ability to bring in livestock, they can come in and take care of that. I have the wonderful wild boar coming through and fertilizing a little bit the soil. So that's always good to see, I guess. They eat olives, I saw there in their litter. I mean, as Julian says, it can be quite daunting for conventional farmers to make the switch to regenerative practices. And especially when you see that yields go down the first year, production is not the way you would like it. It's really an investment in the future, and one that doesn't directly benefit you always. And I think this is a conversation that we should be having about regenerative and organic practices. Imagine after years of tillage on a conventional lot with the soil devoid of life, and suddenly a diversity of plants comes in. The olive trees are competing with other plants in the area. So the first year you could see a reduction in yields, but if you continue to carry for the soil, you will see improved water retention, improved microbial life in the soil. These benefits don't only go directly to the farmer, but to the community as a whole, and not to mention the savings that farmers can have by not having to invest so much in inputs, external chemical fertilizers and herbicides that can cut into profits. There's something to be said about caring for olive trees and investing your time in the land, observing, taking notes, and it brings me closer to the land and my connection to this area and the local community. Having a variety of olive producing regions in Spain is a sign of resiliency and strength for local communities, that when the prices get out of hand, it can be a source of income and also food for many local communities. These smaller scale groves have had to compete with mechanized large-scale production that has left the majority of these groves abandoned and in a fallow state, because it doesn't make economic sense for people to take care of these smaller lands, and most people that do is more like a hobby or a side hustle. And these groves that are in abandoned state, although they are quite neglected, there will be the olive oil trees ready to be pruned with a little bit of a haircut, some TLC, and they'll be ready to produce wonderful extra virgin olive oil for so many people to enjoy. There it is, a peek into the production and operation of Julian here in Baix Maestrat. If you would like to connect with Julian and get in contact with him, I've linked his social down below. And if you like what we're doing here on this channel, please help us thrive with a subscribe. Help support us as we strive to become a productive market garden in the area and provide vegetables for our local community. We'll be caring for the land in a way that nobody really is doing around here. Just as a closing note, I want to say that often in the regenerative sphere, there's a dynamic of comparing conventional and regenerative farmers as good guy and bad guy dynamic, and I think this sometimes is not very helpful in the conversations that we should be having. Unfortunately, this dynamic may have creeped into my story here as I've tried to communicate these ideas to you. However, I do feel that conventional farmers can benefit so much by not exposing themselves to known poisons, reducing costs by reducing inputs, and adding resiliency in the overall of their operation. Currently, the paradigm is not set up for this kind of structure. And as I delve deeper into this community of regenerative farming, the roots on one side are rooted in degrowth and on the other in growth. And I think this dynamic, these opposing forces, are not really helping with the conversations that we should have and with the urgency that we must address the problems that we are facing. I know a lot of people in the regenerative sphere are worried about greenwashing, the problems that might have with larger corporations taking on the regenerative label. And I think their concerns are valid, but at the same time, I think we should be happy that larger operations are considering changing the way that we produce food. However, at the same time, we must continue to hold these larger scale operations accountable, and that it's just not a simple marketing scheme. Large scale industrial farmers have so much knowledge and know-how. They have also the capital investment in the land, the tractors, equipment that can be retooled for regenerative practices. And while the other side, regenerative practitioners, have the know-how and the skills of being able to care for the soil, the combination of these two can be a force for positive change. And being a complex topic, I believe this debate deserves a video of its own. But thanks for sticking around till the end and listening to my rant. Thanks for listening to me and the support. I hope to see you again around here. Leave a comment below if you like these kinds of debates and want to hear more of them. Otherwise, we'll check you out in the next video.